Today's episode of Running It Back is here. New guest to the show as well. You are really going to like it because we had a great conversation and we followed it up with the Rotten Tomatoes head-to-head movie game. Before we get to the episode, I want to remind you, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel right here on YouTube, please do so. Every subscriber counts, and all my stuff is up here. My stand-up comedy clips, my Running It Back interview series, and a series that's running right now, my Hooray for Hollywood movie series. We review Best Picture winners from the past. It's all there, and we've got one more episode going up soon. So check that out. On to today's episode. Comedian, podcaster, Lorraine Lopez joins me. She's never done the show before. She sat down for a really insightful, deep interview. I didn't know it was going to go the places it did, but I think you're really going to find out something about Lorraine and me too. We'll wrap it all up with the Rotten Tomatoes game as well. Lorraine is a great guest. We had a great talk, and you can check out her podcast, Lorraine Lopez Loves. See what that's all about too. So, on to the episode, Running It Back with Lorraine Lopez. Here we go. All right, joining me on the show this week is Lorraine Lopez. She is the host of Lorraine Lopez, the podcast. She is at Lorraine Lopez Comedy on Instagram, and if you listen to her show like I do, she has a loose tooth.
I do, yes. Thank you.
Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for joining me. I've been listening to your podcast. I find it really interesting, and I find a lot of folks like podcasts interesting because it's a little bit of a window into their mindset, their personality, because, you know, we don't really get to talk to each other that much at shows or when we see each other around. So I kind of learn about each other through their podcast, and you do an interesting one where you do it solo a lot of times. So you just get to speak and I just get to hear what you have to say. How long have you been doing your podcast, Lorraine Loves, for?
I started it in 2018, and with the pandemic, I started doing it from home, and then I took maybe like a 2-year break, and now I'm back and I'm doing solo episodes. So, and that's a new thing because before I've always had guests on. So it's new, it's different, it's difficult. I feel like it's difficult by myself, but
Yeah, certainly. I would think it would be very difficult because at some point your inner monologue kind of runs out. You know, like I do my best. Lorraine, I would have a great podcast if I did it in my car while I drive to things. That's where I do my best talking to myself, but yet I never record that. So, and then I flip on mics and stuff and I'm like, I forgot everything I was going to say. But yours is really good because it's very introspective. And you kind of like run down your historical things that have happened in your life. And then also like the small everyday things like going to the dentist and how that's like a major thing for you. How are you doing with the dentist, by the way?
So far my tooth it's just a little loose. It's not like, I think it's getting better. And I think really it has to do with wearing my retainer, you
Oh,
know.
you still wear a retainer?
Well, I'm not going to say 20 years I hadn't worn a retainer.
Yeah.
And I never wore it. Like after I had braces, I never wore my retainer ever. So it so happened that my aunt found my retainer and it's like super old, probably gross.
Oh,
It fit, it fit my top teeth. The bottom don't fit anymore, but
you put it back in?
I put it back in. I had
Oh my God.
my tooth was going to fall out.
Oh, jeez.
But I had really bad teeth before I had braces. I had 2 teeth that were like really high up here. I had this tooth was way back in my mouth.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and then they pulled out a tooth. So now there's like too much room up there. So I think there's nothing holding it together, you know?
Oh no, you need like scaffolding. When did you get your braces off? Were you older?
No, this is like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
25,
didn't we
maybe
all?
50 years ago. Don't ask. Don't ask.
Yeah, I was
Don't.
gonna say, didn't we all get our braces off when we were like, 15 years old or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do the numbers. Don't do the numbers. Okay.
Sorry, we'll cut all this
You're
out.
getting a little too specific, Patrick. You're like, wait a minute.
Wait. Yeah,
15.
I got my braces off, and then they're like, okay, your braces off. And like as a kid, I'm like, oh, finally, after 2 years, you get your braces off. And like, here's a retainer. Oh, what do I do with this? You wear this at night. Oh, for how long? Yeah, forever. Like, what
Forever.
was the
Yeah.
point of these braces?
My cat.
Unbelievable. We had a cat.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I brought it to the dentist. I didn't bring it, but I told him I had my retainer, and he was like, the metal one? I'm like, yeah, I have the metal one. He's like,
Yeah, that's what I had.
whoa. He was like, they don't make those anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess not. But what does that mean? He said he liked them. He's like, I prefer the metal
Huh.
over the.
What? That's insane. I had the metal one too, and it was gross. And I think like,
I think
I
the
think
other
I
one might be gross. The clear one?
ah oh actually the clear one would get very gross too. You're right.
Yeah, I think that, and I like the look of a retainer, and I like the sound of a retainer.
Really? You
Yeah.
what? You like the sound of a retainer? What does that even mean?
Yes, I don't know. It's just you feel smart. You feel like you
Oh,
know things.
yeah. I gave my retainer a shot. I would say like a couple years into like college. I was like, gotta wear my retainer, and like, what is the point of this? Or I think I went like a month without wearing it, and my teeth were fine. I'm like, what a scam! Like, here's a
No.
retainer. Just keep wearing this thing.
Well, my bottom teeth are all crooked now from not wearing the
Mm,
retainer. So I heard that your teeth move forward as you grow
yeah.
older. So I think you should be wearing a retainer. So now
Oh shoot.
I
I never
wanted
had a bottom one though. Maybe I need a bottom one.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna go find my retainer, Lorraine.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what it's gonna be. Mine just
Oh.
popped up out of nowhere. I had it in my trunk actually for
Oh.
probably 8 months because my mom gave it to me with a bunch of junk I had, and they were like trying to shove all my old stuff out. And then I put it in my trunk, and then that's when I was gonna throw it all in the trash. And whatever happened, like something said, get that retainer, put it in.
Oh, really? You
Yes.
had some sort of connection to this retainer.
Yeah.
Jeez. Do you have, you know what I have, and I totally forgot about it? I have a permanent lower one
Oh,
on
wow.
here, and like every now and again I'll see it in the mirror. I'm like, should this be here? Like I have 19 mid 90s technology in my mouth. Like this is can't be doing anything anymore, right? I have like the VHS of
Hmm.
retainers in my mouth. I got to get that removed, don't you think? Or maybe
Yeah.
it's holding everything together.
Did they never told you why you had that in there?
No.
Maybe that's weird because you know what? I don't know. I feel like I have this thing where um I feel like my neighbor's showering right now. I'm like, is she showering?
Mm.
Can you
Get her
hear
in here. Does she have a retainer?
probably. I would
Let's
assume so.
ask her.
But I forgot what I was saying. Okay, the retainer.
The retainer, the lower retainer you were talking about. Oh, it was in your trunk?
You needed to ask about yours and you need to maybe get yours removed
I
because I
think I
can't
might have to
imagine that
now.
metal in your mouth is good for you.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I got metal. It's obviously glued in.
And you
That's
don't ever
not good.
feel like you're gonna go crazy, like you're like, get it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
want
you
it out now. Like you can't really floss correctly. You need a special angle to it. It's doing more damage than good at this point. It has to be.
stain.
Oh my God. Now I have
Then
a
this stuff gets
complex.
you all crazy in your head.
Yeah, like now I'm rubbing my tongue against it in my mouth on
Oh
purpose. Like
shoot.
there's that retainer. I'm like a robot. Oh
That's
my
okay.
God.
I mean, that's why you don't have your teeth look good.
Yeah, they're straight enough, I think. They were
Yeah,
pretty jacked up as a kid. They got straight.
that's good.
My poor parents got braces for like all of us kids. and, and then we didn't wear retainers. That's gotta be rough.
But
Like,
my parents never told me to wear a retainer.
oh, didn't they? Yeah.
They
This
don't
would
know
be
they don't
my
on me like that.
this would be my biggest fear if I ever had children is orthodonture. Is
Oh yeah.
just the nonstop going to appointments, nonstop types of retainers, braces. Maybe they're better at it now, but I just remember always going to the orthodontist as a kid. Like every 4 weeks, You had another appointment. You had to sit in the gross waiting room. You had to sit in the chair. It smelled like, like a dentist's office. I hated it. I was always fearful of it.
Hmm. Oh
It
yeah, not a good
scared me.
place to be.
No,
Especially if
not
you
at
have
all.
TMJ,
What's that?
when you have lockjaw.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't think I had that. Thank God.
Yeah, I have really bad lockjaw. So I'm like,
What is
like,
lockjaw?
well, I don't know how there's like certain ways you can get it. And I once got hit with a football on my face
Oh,
and it kind of
really?
knocked my jaw out of link or something. And ever since then, I have to crack it.
Are you
Or one time
serious?
it got stuck open. Yeah.
And because you got hit with a football.
That's why I'm diagnosing myself when it happened, and I'm assuming it was
Ah.
that day because it
Oh
hurt.
my God. You got hit with a football and then your jaw can lock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. You had a traumatic childhood. That's rough. You had like the real life, like Brady Bunch. Remember when Marsha got hit in the nose with the football?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had it with lockjaw. That's the real
Yeah.
story. Unbelievable. Where, where did this happen? Where did you get hit with football? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Ontario and then later on Ranch Cucamonga. So this was at
Oh,
my
so
aunt.
you're a Southern California native.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my grandma, she used to live, well, my grandma, a lot of my family lives in Mexico, but my grandma, she lived in Arizona before it was actually like California, no, before it was America. Like, I mean, her
Oh,
family,
way
mine,
back.
yeah,
No kidding. When it was just North America. When, or when it was just a
but
plot
it
of
was
land,
just,
actually. I think settlers named it North America.
yeah.
No kidding. Oh wow, we have some Southwest connection then. I'm from West Texas.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, on the border. So yeah, so your grandma's Arizona, you're Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? Like I always hear people like say like, "Oh, I grew up in LA." And you're like, "Oh, that's interesting." Well, what's it like growing up in one of these places outside of Los Angeles? Is that a normal life? Are you visiting LA a lot? How is that for you as a kid?
As a kid, we never came to LA. We never came
Hmm.
out here. I would beg my parents, please take me to Hollywood. And they were like,
Oh,
no,
really?
I'm not gonna do that. So it's just so far. I mean,
Yeah.
driving wise, like maybe like an hour from Ontario is like probably an hour drive, but it's all just suburbs. It's like a whole different
Right.
world of Los Angeles. All,
Yeah.
nothing but houses, especially Ranch Cucamonga. Just a lot of new houses, malls, chain
Yeah.
restaurants.
Right. Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
that's true. People forget like you get outside of like the LA area, it gets rural very quickly in California and you see the farms and you see like the little suburbs and you see like you said malls, car dealerships. You can go through the exotic city of Diamond Bar, California
Yeah,
and see
there
a
you
red
go.
lobster.
Yeah, it is crazy too because I didn't eat when I was growing up, I didn't even have sushi for the first time probably till I was like 17. So
Oh yeah.
as weird as it is, like I'm not living that far away from Los Angeles, which you have like so many cultures and so many restaurants and so many cool things happening. Out there, it's like completely different where I
Hmm.
had to meet someone to introduce me to that, where I was like, oh, I've never had sushi. This is crazy. Like every food
Yeah.
was so crazy to me. But yeah, I only lived an hour, east of Los Angeles.
Yeah, and you like wanted to go to Los Angeles? Like you would tell your parents, "Take me there." Like why did you want to go there? You were like curious about it or you had some interest in it? What
Well,
was the
I was always
drive?
into like old Hollywood movies.
Oh,
So,
is that right? I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I love just like the whole, so in my head, I'm thinking like, Hollywood Boulevard is so cool. I want to see the stars on and then now I'm
Yeah.
here and I'm like, this is crazy. It's so I worked on Hollywood Boulevard for probably, I don't even know, 15 years and different parts of Hollywood Boulevard. And it's like the most not glamorous place, you
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true. After a few years, you realize it's a very normal slash dangerous place.
Yeah.
The wrong time of day. Yeah, that's interesting. You were into old Hollywood as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
really believe in what is it called? Reincarnation and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder because when I was probably like 8 or 9, I was listening to Frank Sinatra was like my favorite singer.
Mm.
Uh Patsy Cline. Like I would be crying listening to Patsy Cline songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think you were into such old-timey
I
stuff as a kid?
don't, I mean, I'm assuming maybe like I lived back then. I don't know.
Hmm.
But
Did
I
you
felt like
have older siblings? Did anyone introduce this to you, or is this a natural discovery?
no older siblings, but my grandma did love like I mean she loves all like Frank Sinatra and kind of stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I think hearing it from her, but I just felt very connected to that time. But again,
Uh-huh.
as I got older, it's kind of like trickled away, you
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah, I mean back then I used to always wear my hair like old Hollywood,
Hmm.
like very vintage retro looks and stuff. And like that's all I would listen to was like old music. And then I think now as I gotten older, maybe you forget a little bit or,
Yeah.
you get into other things. So not as much, but it's still there.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I would say my early learnings of, I would say, I guess you'd just say entertainment was through my mom, because my mom would watch I Love Lucy on
Mm.
reruns on KTLA, every afternoon. And I'd be like, Mom, what is this show? And she's like, oh, this is I Love Lucy. And they live in New York. And that's Lucille Ball. And she would kind of explain it to me. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then my mom would listen to soft rock in the car. And like this was all my I thought rock and roll was Stevie Nicks till I was like 16 years old. I didn't put it
Yeah.
together because it was all my mom's taste that, I was introduced to. And my mom liked old movies and stuff. And that's kind of where I would learn a little bit of the actors and stuff. And I kind of knew my mom's favorite actors and actresses from back in the day. Did you have a favorite movie, old timey actress? Like what captivated you about
Um,
this classic stuff?
you know, I really it's hard to say because I also have a really bad memory. I would say like I loved this is not even that old because it's not as old as going back to um maybe older, maybe 1930s. Now there's like all those like different decades where they had the
Mm-hmm.
big, crazy like what is it called during the class, not the class system, but they had that system in Hollywood where they would have
Uh huh.
actors come in and they had these big, huge productions because I did love all those
Uh
too.
huh.
But later on too, I liked this movie called Gypsy Rose Lee with Natalie Wood. That one was like really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Any Frank Sinatra movie I loved.
Uh huh.
Yeah, there's
Oh, that's interesting. Going way back.
but then
Yeah.
later, then I got into like other things, I liked God, my memory is so bad right now. I don't remember. That's the thing. I like could watch so many things and not remember the names of things. You know,
Yeah.
even my
Right.
TV shows right now, I can watch a show and then I can the next day be like, what should I watch? And I completely forgot what was I watching. I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Luckily now, like we can all like open up like our streaming service and then just click back 23 minutes and be like, all right, let me catch up. Whereas,
True.
back in the day, it's like, shoot, what happened between what I left off in here? I have no idea. I'll just have to wait till
Or
this
just
kind of,
yeah.
yeah, until this reruns, or I can ask my friend at school. Now we have no excuse. Now we can just catch up
Oh, for
all the
sure.
time. It's really, yeah, it's a weird existence. There's no mystery anymore. As a kid, you're like, I think I saw an episode about something, but I don't know what it was. I have no idea. I'm going to ask around or look for a TV guide or something.
Or at least now you have your Instagram, every like thing on your phone is listening to you.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
I fall asleep really easily when I put on the TV. So I forgot that I was watching the show. And then yesterday it was popping up all on my
Hmm.
Instagram. I was like, oh my God, that's what I was watching.
Yeah. Yeah, it
So
knows. It knows too much about our shows.
yeah.
I don't like that it knows what I watch because I will catch myself watching terrible TV. I'd be like, I didn't want to watch Love is Blind. I didn't mean to watch it. Algorithm, like I was just checking it out, I swear.
But it's
You know,
kind of fun to know the pop culture when everyone's watching something.
yep, yep,
Love is
yeah.
blind.
There was a couple of Bachelor seasons that I watched and I didn't even like it. And of course I watched
Uh,
the whole thing.
did you watch are you watching The Bachelor now?
No, I only did the season with that guy Ari, the guy who had gray hair. That was the
Okay.
only I watched every episode of that one, and then I had to have a come to Jesus moment where I was like, I can't watch this anymore. The series is too consuming. And then
Yeah.
but all I did was pick another reality TV show to fill the void.
What was
And then
that?
I watched that. I watched well, I'm a big Below Deck fan. I watched that on Bravo. Um Way too much. Then I watched what was the other one I watched? Then I watched Love is Blind.
Great.
That was a Netflix series. It was pretty good. And then I almost disowned myself and I watched Kissing Booth on Netflix,
Okay. Was it
which
good?
I hated it. But that doesn't stop me from watching. I keep watching it. And
Uh,
then someone told me, like, oh, you have to watch Euphoria. Yeah, Euphoria, it's scandalous. It's scandalous. And it was like, because there was like lots of nudity, but it was all traumatizing nudity. Because everybody was
yeah.
getting traumatized. I'm like, what happened to just regular old nudity? And then I got mad. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. So I get mad that my phone knows what I'm watching because I feel like I have to have a talk with my phone. It's like, this isn't who I really am, I swear.
Hmm.
I don't think it would believe me anyway, though.
Well, I
God.
watched I believe 18 seasons of Sister Wives.
Oh,
Re-
Sister Wives. I knew that show. Yeah, I never saw it. I know the show though.
Crazy.
Sister
Yeah, that was a
Wives. That's a good
that was a
one.
recent thing. So that's really bad because I wasn't
Mhm.
even current. I'm watching shows from like going back from 2005.
Oh, wow. So you got to go back to the start.
I did. I didn't need to, but I did. I was like, I need something to just be on in the background, you know,
Yeah, I think that's me too. I just come in as like put something on in the background. Takes me 23 minutes to
to
find
find it.
something. And
Yep.
then as soon as I put it on, I leave the screen.
Yep.
I'm like, what is my
Exactly.
life? Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's
What
stressful. Why are we doing
stressful.
this to ourselves?
I'm going to blame my mom again for this. Because when I was a kid, she would always have the TV on, and it was Growing Pains, it was Who's the Boss, it was Family Ties. It was just kind of on while she did other stuff. And I just sort of got that in my head that you just got to have TV on at some point. Whatever's on, you watch it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just watch it, and
That's why
that's
we're
all you have.
watching bad TV because
Yeah.
we know that we don't have to pay attention. We wouldn't
Yeah.
be watching, we wouldn't just have Breaking Bad in the background because you need
Hmm.
to watch, you need to be like focused.
Yeah.
So,
Totally. Yeah. I need something in the background. It's like my white noise.
oh yeah, now I just listen to true crime nonstop in the background and I don't pay attention. I just hear like one thing here and there.
Hmm.
And then, there's like 10 different podcasts about the same crime. So then it ends up making sense one day. And I'm like, oh, now I get
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. You can't just watch the show. After the show finishes, you got to listen to the podcast because you're like, "All right, what happened that one part?" There's so much true crime out there that we have all become critics of true crime. Like I really don't like true crime where they have actors reenacting the crime, and they have like the lady, like the lady actor is holding a knife, or like the old sheriff guys. I don't like when there's actors. I want real police footage or some. I get mad now. I'm criticizing all the true crime, whereas
I feel
before that
attacked
was the best
because
we
I
had.
used to be one of those actors on
Oh,
Snapped.
really?
Kill as a one of the actors where I'm like dead on the floor,
You were
limp.
dead? Maybe there's a show I saw you in. You were you
Like,
were
do I
dead.
recognize you from somewhere?
Yeah.
Probably not the best place to be recognized.
Mm-hmm. Like you were dead. I believed it.
Thank you.
What were you like as a kid in general in this Rancho Cucamonga world? You're watching old movies, you're listening to Frank Sinatra. Like, what's your overall kid vibe?
Very shy. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't talk. Um, so maybe more like my first, second grade, I was going to a special teacher where I would have to like talk with her because basically I was like probably like a mute when I was in my actual
Really? You were, and it was shyness, huh?
yeah.
Why were you so shy, do you think?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know much. I mean, I grew up like my brother's 10 years younger than me, so I
Mm-hmm.
grew up with just my mom and dad. My mom worked all the time. My dad worked graveyard. So when I was home, he was sleeping a lot. So I
Huh.
don't know. I asked my mom and I was like, Mom, can you tell me a little bit about myself when I was younger? Like, just I forget. I saw someone. Heard it
Hmm.
on TV. Someone was asking their mom, and I'm like, I'm gonna ask my mom, see what I was like, and she was like, I can't really remember, and I'm like, you can't remember.
Really?
And she's like, well, I do remember you in your closet a lot, and you were always playing with imaginary friends.
Really? Huh. That's that's strange in a lot of levels, Lorraine. Number one, your mom doesn't remember your childhood.
Well, she worked a lot, you know.
Okay, yeah. So like you were like alone a lot as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was there, but he was sleeping a lot in the day. And then I
Hmm.
also had very strict, my dad was very strict. So I
Oh,
couldn't really go out with friends or go outside and play like a normal kid.
yeah. Oh,
I
you were
was
like
always,
sheltered.
yes.
Yeah,
So
you were like in a kennel.
exactly. That's why I love animals now so much. But I
Oh
feel like,
yeah.
but that's what I feel like maybe that's what my animals are, like my little stuffed animals or like my imaginary friends.
Hmm.
Now that's what I see them as, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
From
Oh, well, maybe the solo podcast is right up your alley then. Just speak to the darkness. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Well, that sounds like where the shyness might have manifested itself from. You're alone all the time. It's hard to learn how to socialize. And maybe
definitely.
kid, yeah, maybe
I
like,
actually never thought about it like that. Even though I just told you that story, I
mm-hmm,
didn't think that that's why my social interactions are so weird. Because also,
mm-hmm,
like you said, with stand up and, you know, when you do shows, you don't get to talk to people a lot. So I think when I started doing my podcast, it was like the one time or the first time I was able to really show my personality
yeah,
because I'm more of like I have a close friend that just like I can be myself with and they know me totally like that's they know me so well and I
mm-hmm,
can be myself. But in like normal days, it's very hard for me to have like, hi, how's it going? Like one of my worst the worst things that I hate is going to check out the grocery store. I hate the
oh, is
small
that
talk.
right?
I hate the awkwardness. I'm always like overthinking it. So that's how
Yeah.
my normal interactions are like.
Yeah, those little interactions, yeah, I can't get away from them quick enough. Like when they say hello, I want to say hello back and I want it to end
Yeah.
there. You
But
know, there's,
I'm trying harder now to make more of an effort to be like,
yeah,
how's your day? How's it going?
I get, yeah,
You know,
I
because
get
I want
that.
to be friendly and I want to work on that. I don't want to be like super weird and awkward. I don't want someone to think that I'm like, you know, not a nice person or something. I just feel like I just don't know what to say. But I see people every day and they don't know someone and they're just like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Oh, that's funny. And it's just so easy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that is amazing. Like that's such
Uh-huh.
like in my head, I'm like, that's so cool that they can do that. Like
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Betsy's, you know, she's like very personable and like she can get talk to anyone and it's like she knows
Hmm.
forever. I'm the complete polar opposite. I'm just like, you know,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely get that. As someone like I would describe myself as introverted and very shy. In school I was shy, but like I would come around. Like it would take a month or so, but like it would take me a while. And like I was the kid where everyone would say like, "How come you never talk?" Like they would tell me that. "How come you never talk?" And then I would start talking, and then it was instantly like, "What are you talking about?" So I had it from both directions. Like I finally get to talk, and then everybody tells me to shut up. So I get that where it's like I had that same personality where like it's an effort for me to be outgoing, but I would like to be outgoing. I could benefit if I was a touch more outgoing. You know,
yes.
I see where you're coming from. It seems like you had it a little more dramatic than I did.
I mean, I don't know. Like in my head though, I'm thinking to myself, is it like, am I over dramatized? I can't even speak right, but I can't, am I making this crazier than it is? When I say things, it's like in my head, it's like, no, that's normal, nothing crazy. But then
Hmm.
I say it and someone hears it and they're like, that's weird.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I get that. Like I always, and this is maybe why you do the podcast too. It's like I always had all these thoughts and I never could get them out. Like I couldn't find anybody to tell them to. And when I did, I got them all wrong. Like I said it all wrong. It's
Yeah.
like I had all these things to say, but I didn't know where to point any of this effort towards. And maybe that's where comedy comes from, and maybe that's where the desire of like radio. I was into radio as a kid. I was like, maybe that's where it comes from. I was like, finally, I can speak. I don't know if anybody will listen, but now I can speak unfettered. to it. So, what about your parents? Were your parents outgoing people? Or were they quiet as well?
My dad's pretty outgoing. He's like a
Really,
funny
your dad is,
guy.
huh?
He's pretty funny. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was sick and he was in the hospital for a long time. And
Oh
he's
wow.
just like everyone's favorite. The nurses either hated him or loved him.
Oh,
Uh, but he would be making jokes and like, messing around with everyone and
huh.
um
Wow.
yeah. I get one time he almost died in front of me
Oh my god.
at the hospital. So he doesn't have cancer anymore. But when we were at this hospital, wasn't a good hospital. They said he had stage 4 cancer, and they said that he was never going to walk again, and he was going to be paraplegic. So it was just this crazy time where he was having all these infections nonstop. So he would, his
Mm,
health was just really, really bad. So we were always scared something's gonna happen to him. So we were in the room and he was on a lot of medication and he would just say funny things and he'd be like, "Why are all these people in my house?" I'm like, "Yes, Dad. I don't know. You invited them." So I would just go along with
mm-hmm.
whatever he said, but he was making no sense ever. So I was just like, this
Uh-huh.
is just how it is now. He's just on drugs and he's hilarious when he's on, like, he's even funnier
Uh-huh.
when he's like on medicine.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But then he was really not making sense. And then the one nurse came into the room and was just like, oh my gosh, this doesn't seem right. And I'm like, I don't know if you should know this, but my dad is like really out of it right now. He doesn't even know who you are. He thinks there's someone sitting right there and
Mm-hmm.
he's a bunch of people in his room. And she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. We need to know that. And then all of a sudden there was
Huh.
like 15 people coming into the room. They did that whole thing where they're like, sir, if
Oh wow.
like if you're not like if we can't wake you up, like do you want us to pull the plug? Like they were asking him that in that
Oh
moment.
wow.
Yeah, so that happened. Okay. And then he made it out. He's fine. But they did say like he almost died like that day. And it was scary because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, thank goodness I said something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
you finally spoke up, Lorraine.
spoke up. Yes. But my dad later, again, was because sometimes he'll go back into the hospital and he was in the hospital like not that long ago. And we were actually, Betsy and I were at the improv Christmas party.
Oh yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
my brother calls me and he goes, "Oh my gosh, Lorraine, you need dad. I'm so scared. I think something's happening to dad right now. Like he doesn't know. He's saying there's cats in his room." And I'm
Oh
like,
my
"Cats
god.
in his room?" I was like, "What?" He's probably like on medication. He thinks he sees my cats. And he's like, "I don't know, but you need to call." So I called. I'm like, I don't even know where he's at. I don't know what room he's at. I
Mm-hmm.
call the hospital. I'm just like, "Hi, my dad, Larry Lopez. I don't know. Can you find him? This is his age range. I don't know what I said." And then
Uh-huh.
I talked to the nurse. The nurse was like, "Yeah, he's fine." And I'm like, "Well," she's like, "I'm actually with another patient. Can I just call you back and I'll just check on him again?" I was like, "Okay, but this is an emergency. Like something is wrong with my dad."
Mm-hmm.
And my dad ends up calling me and I'm like, "Dad," he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I like, what the whole thing was a joke.
What?
He was making it all up because he was messing with my brother. And
Oh.
yeah, but he's just crazy like that.
What
But
is
when
with your
he's like,
dad?
I don't know, he's crazy.
That's a weird joke to play on your kid is like fake dying.
Traumatized. This is like the week before Christmas. I'm like, Dad, did you really have to do that to me?
Yeah. What kind,
Larry,
what kind of prank is this, Larry?
terrible.
I know. Jeez. Oh my God. So your dad can't help pulling pranks. And you're the shy one in your closet.
It's weird though, because you can ask my closest friends. Like one of my friends, she's like my soulmate. And I've known her, and from the day one, I was never shy with her. Like
Mm-hmm.
there, it just clicked, and I was just my 1,000% myself with her. So even till this day, where I'm like, yeah, I'm an introvert, and she's like, "You're not an introvert." I said, "Yes, I am." Like you don't get it, but when I'm not with you, I'm an introvert. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think I have to either connect or I think I've had you know, one thing that I learned, and like you said, when you're like, who's going to listen? Where is this information going to? Who is this
Mm-hmm.
information for? Because I feel like I've tried hard growing up. Like I don't think I had a lot of friends. And then you would talk to people and tell people things and try to be conversational, and you realize that you're not being received.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just like, we don't care about you. I'm not listening to you. Or so I just stopped talking and putting effort into talking to people. That was a
Mm-hmm.
part of it too. I mean,
Yeah.
later on in life, where I'm like, I don't, or I'd meet people and I'm like, they would never get it. Like whatever, like you said, they don't would never understand what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, or how they wouldn't understand my way of thinking. So sometimes like I'll just wait for that right person, or I'll just wait for my podcast. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I get that with like the conversation. Somewhere around when I was like in my early 20s, really like, I was very shy and I was very horrible, especially with women. I was like, if I want to ask this girl out or I want to talk to a girl I like, um, you were going to get the worst version of me in my conversation because I'm going to get nervous. I'm going to clam up. So I would pre plan my conversations and I would write down my questions because I knew question number one, she's not going to have shit to say back. It's going to be yes or no. And when that question bombs, you better have another one ready to go. So I would
yeah.
plan out my questions because I knew they weren't really listening to. Be like, oh, do you like that class? Yeah, it's all right. Right, it is all right. I don't like it either. And I would just have 8 questions loaded up, ready to go. And then, like you said, just I know I'm not being received right now. And I'm just going to keep plowing on till eventually a question gets answered with not a, it's all right. And by the way, Lauren, I will tell you, I never figured it out. None of those ever turned into anything. But I was like, I knew I was bad at it. So I was like, I got a plan
That
here
kind
and
of
think of
sounds like,
something.
have you seen Love on the Spectrum? Because they
Oh
do that.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
go through with
Yeah.
like,
I created that, Lorraine. I created pre-planning your questions to women
they
who would
do
not want
that.
to
They're
go out
like,
with you.
okay, you say this, and when she says this, what are you going to say? Um,
Yep. That's what I would do in my head. Yeah. I would plan it out. I was like,
Smart. I mean, I used to do something similar because when I was 25, I was dating an older man. And
older, you go for the older man, huh?
yeah, at the time I did. So he
How
was
old are we talking here?
14 years older.
14. Okay.
That's not too
Interesting.
crazy, is it?
No, not outrageous,
No,
especially
not,
because you were 25. So
yes, I wasn't like
you
17.
you weren't
Okay. So that
17. You were in
I
adult
was a grown
range.
adult.
Yes. Okay.
So I would plan my conversations as well because I thought this person was a very, very smart. So at that time back in the day, there was a newsstand. I would go to the newspaper stand, get a newspaper, read the newspaper, like every page. I needed to know everything that was happening. And this is before, like, everything's on your phone. I'm
Yeah.
reading the newspaper to find out things to talk about. It worked.
And it worked. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
You actually put effort in.
I really did. I did the homework.
Yeah. Yeah. You had homework essentially. What topics would you sort of read up on and be like, all right, I'm going to bring this up at dinner. So I'm
Well,
up on the subject.
well, it
What
kind
were you
of reminds
bringing up in those days?
I mean, back in the day, oh gosh, I mean, I can't remember. It's been so long. But
Mm-hmm.
I do like to research, and it reminds me of so Betsy and I are producing a show in Long Beach. And ever since we started doing that, I've been doing a lot of research on not newspapers, but like the actual Long Beach, I guess newspapers, but they're online. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll read all their stuff. So a lot of times I do shows and I hit them with all the information. And I'm like, hey, did you guys know
I
that
see. Yeah.
there was an Amber Alert the other day? Like I
Yeah.
stuff like that, and they have no clue and they're so like, whoa, there was. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't even know. So
Mhm.
they kind of get, interested.
Yeah, yeah, that's where the research comes in. Yeah, you're like a journalist.
I do like to research. I was a
Yeah.
researcher at one point.
Oh, so this is a
Not for long.
natural,
Yeah.
yeah, natural thing for you, researching to have conversations with older men, and it
Yeah.
turned into a comedy show. Yeah, totally. I could see that. I definitely could see that. Well, like also on your podcast, like you did one that was like heavy dating stories. And like you had like people are writing into you, giving you their dating stories, but you had your own too. Like I always hate it when someone's radio show is just callers and then everybody makes fun of the callers. Like, but you actually shared stuff of your own. I thought
Oh wow.
that's I thought that was the best part of it because when I was a kid, my mom would listen to the radio and she would listen to Dr. Laura. And I don't know if you know who Dr. Laura is, but she's just this curmudgeony old lady. And people will call in and she would just essentially make fun of all the callers for calling in with their questions. And I hated the show, but I thought it was like, but this is kind of a good show. She's figured out how to make a good show. But you actually share your own stories
I
of it.
do.
And it reminded me of one thing where I think you said you saw someone you used to date somewhere and you were trying to get out of the grocery store or something.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I gotta run. I don't know what to do with my groceries. And that happened to me once.
Really?
And, but for me, it was not a lot of thought. I just got the hell out of there. I was like, I'm leaving everything I own and I'm leaving right, and I'm running out of the store. And I just got out of, I don't even know if it was her
Wow.
though. I don't even know if it was her. It looked close enough like
Oh,
her. Was like, I gotta get
was it
out of
like a
here.
bad ending or why was it like traumatic for you? I'm just curious.
It would have been traumatic for me because I was the one who got turned down. I was the guy who was like, "Oh, so long, loser." So I was like, "Oh man!" And of course, I had like a basket full of frozen pizzas and a bunch of Cliff Bars. Like,
Right. The
yeah,
judgment of what you eat. That's why
my
I never
food,
eat in the supermarket. I don't want
yeah,
them to know what I eat.
my food did not help my case either, as well. And then I don't think she was with anybody, but in my head, like I went down the next aisle and I was like, any good looking dude, I bet that's the dude she's with. Like my brain went into full projection mode and I just got the hell out of there. And
Yeah, I
I
mean
just
that's
ran.
I mean, I didn't expect myself to be so upset and so like to have that reaction, you know.
Hmm.
It just happened. And this was a relationship that was like very long ago, but it definitely was a very traumatic relationship for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I got trauma just hearing the story. It's like, oh shoot. And then I thought like, okay, what am I gonna do next time I get into any of these situations? Am I gonna run out of there? Like I need a plan. I need to be ready.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know till this day if I'll probably just do the same thing. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, just get the hell out of there.
I don't want anything to I don't have anything in me to just be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" I don't even have that. I don't have
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
couldn't do it either. But if it was like a surprise where like say you turn the corner and you both saw each other face to face and you're forced to
Then you
say
yeah,
hello
you
or
have to.
something, that would be I would bomb that conversation too. I would have nothing to say. I wouldn't have anything good to say.
I mean, and I'm an awkward person, so on top of on that awkward moment, I don't even know. And I still have so many mutual friends, and I think that's a part of it why it's so. And also with the podcast, it's embarrassing because this was recent. Like this just happened. I think it was this year.
Oh, is
So
that
or
right?
months ago. Yeah, it was a recent thing. So I know people that are still like they're all friends with, my ex and stuff, but a lot of people don't know the traumatic how traumatic it was for me because I was always a cool girl back in, when I was
Is
like
that right?
I'm cool. I'm not, like
Hmm.
I wasn't telling people my business like that.
I see. Yeah. Have you ever had the one? This happened. You just reminded me. This happened maybe 10 plus years ago, where I had an ex girlfriend from months previous, and I was at a stoplight, and I look over the car next to me, and it was her. But it was too late. She was already looking up out of the window too, so I couldn't turn my head back again. And then I just did like this. I just gave a wave, and then the light turned green, and I drove off. I was like, oh god, that was really awkward
Oh,
and
yeah,
embarrassing. Yeah, but it was too late. I looked over, and then she started looking over, so I couldn't bail. It
that's a
was
tough.
bad.
I
Yeah.
mean, I had a situation, and this is probably like TMI, but I had met a guy on a dating app, and I think we had like 3 dates. I don't remember, but we had the night before we hung out, and
Hmm.
we had like a wonderful day, and we were intimate, and the next
Hmm.
day,
What
and
kind of age range are we talking here?
oh, this wasn't like I mean maybe this was like how long ago was this? This was maybe This was probably 2018.
But was this an older guy again? I'm trying to
Oh
establish a
no,
pattern
this
here.
is
No,
different.
this is
I had a
close.
crazy. I was like a serial dater for a long time.
Serial dater.
I was
Wow.
like a professional dater.
I don't know if you're ready for another podcast, but you have the title, Serial Dater.
Yeah, right. Not
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I also haven't dated in like 4 years or 3 years.
4 years, no dating? Why is that? Is this
Trauma.
a conscious decision? You're like, I'm
Yes.
done.
Yeah.
Conscious
It's
decision.
conscious. It's conscious, and I also now. So I have four cats, and I
Mm-hmm.
recently trapped my fourth cat last week. Like I trapped her in my
You
front yard.
trapped her. What do you mean you trapped her?
It was I have a feral cat in my kitchen right now, like a
Oh,
feral
that's how you got her. You trapped her.
trapped her. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So you're not dating, you're trapping cats. Okay,
Well,
good.
someone
Continue.
told me because everyone's so concerned. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you can't have four cats. Like there's just too many. You can't." And I'm like, "I can, and I'm okay. Like I'm gonna be
Okay.
okay." But everyone feels bad for me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, like you're never gonna date again." And I also, in my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not."
Really?
Um, like I don't care. Like if I somehow met someone that like it just worked with, but I don't see maybe the way that I grew up, I sometimes maybe I'm just really good and I'm older, so now I'm so used to being alone and I
Mm-hmm.
realize like, I like it. I like to do what I want. I don't want to worry about anyone else.
Okay. All
Hang out with
right.
my friends. I want to do the stuff that I want to do. I want to travel. I'm so open to like meeting someone for fun, but there's nothing in me. When I was like, 18, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to get married and I have to have kids. I don't want to have kids. And I
Okay.
feel
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my next question. Yeah. Is there any drive to have kids? Because that would be a big drive to date. So you're not actively dating and you haven't for 4 years. Do
I
you
think
see
3 years. I
yourself
can't remember the year. Yeah, 3 years, I think.
3? Okay. How many cats ago did you stop dating, Lorraine?
When I had my cats.
One. So every year you go without dating anyone, you should get another cat.
I can't because you know what? I
Mm.
have to give them, they have to get enough attention from me. Like I can never,
Oh, got it. Yeah.
this cat, my fourth cat, it's still new. So either she's gonna be with me if she likes it and my cats get along. If not, I will find her a home. Like I'm not,
I
but
see.
she
So
was
this cat's
feral.
still new.
Oh, not even a week.
Oh,
Our
wow. Yeah,
our
you're
week
still
anniversary
testing.
is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know
All
if
right.
it's on Thursday.
Interesting. Interesting. You got a lot going on here. Do you ever see yourself or do you ever have the feeling where you want to get back to the dating world?
Um, you know what? I work from home. I have like a small business. So I think also during this time I started my business, I got very, very busy, just
Mm-hmm.
making a living on my own business. It's different than like having to go and you feel like, okay, I can clock in and I know I'm going to make money. It's now I'm working for myself. Like if I want to make money, I have to work at home. And
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so
Okay. I see that.
yeah, so I think I just kind of like didn't go out as much as well. So it's not being around maybe men. It's probably like helps to not want to date or
I see. Yeah.
but I recently started like a side job that is out in the life and people and a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like
Okay. So now you're
looking
going to be socializing again. Maybe something will come
well, now
about.
I feel like there's flirtation and there's like because I worked in nightlife for my whole life. So I was always around a lot of guys all the time. So you
Mm-hmm.
always have that like flirtation. You're always like, so I'm getting back into meeting and talking to people. It's kind of now just like, okay, now I'm smelling the
Yeah.
essence.
Yeah.
So I'm open to like going out with someone and like meeting someone for fun, but not like,
Okay.
not with the intention of like, I'm looking for my forever person, you know,
Gotcha. Okay. So
but I'm honest. I will,
there's a yeah, there's a possibility. You're open to it if it presents itself. Now, as a woman, stopping to date, that's where I'm the most curious. Because if I was to tell myself, all right, I'm not dating anymore, I just would not date anymore. No one's asking me out. As a woman, how many times have you had to say turn someone down?
Well, see, I haven't really gone out much, so it's not like I
Hmm.
was around anyone asking me out. I mean, I would get people on Instagram DMing me
Hmm.
sometimes, and then I just be like, I'm not interested. Like, I don't, that's not,
Okay, so you get some Instagram attention that
yeah, so
you
I'm
kind of
just
push
shut it
away.
down. And if I
Hmm.
meet, I don't know. I'm also very awkward in dating, so, but then
Hmm.
I've also lost my attraction to men.
Really? So this is pretty traumatic that
No, I had
you.
a very traumatic experience
Hmm.
during the pandemic. I had someone move in with me for
Uh-huh.
about 8 months, and that's when we got two cats together.
Okay. Someone move in, you got two cats.
Yeah, and it was probably I've had some really traumatic dating experiences. You might ask my friends, and I think like Betsy would tell you that I've had the most craziest, worst horror dating stories ever.
Hmm.
Like my actual boyfriends, you know. I could have someone that could be like a murderer, one with a double life,
Hmm.
one that
Yeah.
has no empathy. So, like okay. So the last one, it was on a different level. Like he he wouldn't leave. Like the
Oh
relationship
no. And
and
was your place or both of your places?
it was my place.
It was your place. It wouldn't leave your place. Oh my God. I'm getting anxiety just thinking about
Yeah.
this.
And I felt like so powerless and almost I was very, very scared. And I had a therapist online, and
Hmm.
the whole therapy while he was here was my game plan of how do I get him out? How do I get out of this relationship?
Yeah.
And I just shut down. Like I think because it was during the pandemic, and I think he wasn't the person that I knew before. Like once he moved in, it was it was mental. Like there was definitely some mental stuff, but
Uh-huh.
it was like walking on eggshells, and I was like fearful. Like I would go
Yeah.
to sleep so I could just get away from him.
I see. Wow, that bad. The walking on eggshells in your own
Yeah.
home is yeah, a level of anxiety that I think we would all be surprised how many married couples actually have too. So I have a lot of married friends and they're like, "Oh my gosh, my wife's pissed off this, then I piss her off this." And you're like, "This is your home life? This sounds really difficult."
I
I couldn't
know. And I
imagine.
think that just messed with me so much that I didn't even want it's so traumatizing. Like there's stuff I could say that's so gross. And I'm just like, I think my whole everything, even physical, sexual, emotional, like I just feel so I want to be so done. Like I don't want to
Yeah,
have
I see.
it was just so traumatic. And it's sad because I do think that he is dealing with mental stuff, but he's not taking care of it. And I think it was just a bad situation and I wish him well. But um it left me scared.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't leave. How'd you get him out eventually?
Um well, I live in like the craziest area. So
Oh no.
well, but like so I live in between like I'll like give you everyone my street names, but like in the heart of like Melrose district
Okay,
where
gotcha. Yeah, give us a district. Okay, a little crazy
yeah,
there. Yeah.
so there's a lot of craziness happening. And then
Yep.
during the time of the pandemic, there was like, I mean,
Oh,
there was
it's true.
people like so many crazy stuff was happening. So
Yeah.
I got all this dust in here. So I think he couldn't handle it. Like he is not like I mean, I grew up in like a diverse world. He's everything that he didn't present himself the way he actually is.
Hmm.
So I mean, oh, it's so hard to say. Like I always hope he doesn't hear this because I'm also scared he's gonna come after me. So
Oh yeah, that's true. He knows where you live. Oh no.
I moved. So but yeah, it's
Well, I
just
did just get a new subscriber to my channel, Lorraine. So now that I'm up to, 19 subscribers, like I'm gonna keep an eye out
okay, okay, good.
just in
Thank you.
case if he's the number 19. Yeah.
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 Well, no,
Well, it seems like you like are able to speak about it fairly comfortably, and maybe that's a sign that it is in going the positive direction because a lot of people would probably have trouble even speaking about that trauma from a few years ago because it sounds like a horror movie.
Well,
Like,
it's scary because I do want to speak about it because I also want to people to know, like in case I go missing, I want them to know, like, hey,
oh,
remember we were talking about
true.
that one guy.
Hmm.
But also I think that's like this would trigger him, me talking about it. So it's like almost like I can't win.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. You're living in no man's land there. Yeah. Your serial dating life is a true crime series, Lorraine. It sounds
Oh,
so
that's the only reason
scary.
why I started listening to true crime because of this person. I used to
Hmm.
hate true crime. I was a serial dater. I was like literally probably like 4 or 5 dates a week. And
Really? Wow.
and in between, I'd be like, I have like an hour, I have like 2 hours in between this and this. I was like, can you meet up? I would, it's crazy.
Wow.
I
Oh,
was
so this
nonstop.
is yeah, you dated a lot and then you just shut it off.
Shut it off.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is weird. This is interesting though that this was a big turn in life. You're like, "Oh, this is what I did a lot of and now it's not because of
And it's
something
weird
traumatic."
because
Yeah. Well,
normally,
I think you'll be back after some time though. Because it seems like, for someone growing up not very social, very shy, this seems like something that you were very social at. If you're dating so much, don't you think?
yeah, well, this is the thing. Well, I had a boyfriend for 7 years in college. I mean, high school, from
Hmm.
high school.
I was
So
going to say, how long did you go to college for, Lorraine?
7 years. I went to
7 year
college
college.
forever. I went to
I was
college.
a
I was
7 year
eight.
senior.
Yeah. So I had a relationship for 7 years. Immediately after a 1 year relationship, and immediately after a 5 year relationship. So no
Hmm.
dating, all serious relationship.
Oh, yeah.
After the 5 year relationship, I found out that my boyfriend had a double life. So I didn't know him. Like it was
Hmm.
that crazy.
The
So
double life.
double
How
life.
did you discover this double life?
Because he was on a TV show
Oh,
and he had
yeah?
just gotten on a TV show, and I was like really like proud. And because he wasn't on a TV show before, like I mean, we were both acting at the time, and
Hmm.
he booked this really great gig, and he knew the guy who basically was the writer, producer, everything about the whole entire show. Like he has an empire,
Uh huh.
and so I
It's
was
not
like,
Mario Lopez, is it?
no,
Ah, okay. Sorry. Yeah,
close.
it's like that guy's on
No.
TV. Seems he's got a good smile. He might have a double life.
Oh no, no, no. Oh, the guy, my ex. No, 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 no.
Not Mario Lopez.
But
Okay.
he. So yeah, so he just. Oh yeah, so then I was promoting him and tagging him and being like, oh my gosh, check him out. He's on this show. Trying, and this is also like new Instagram, not like
Yeah.
I don't think all this other stuff was out yet. And some girl messaged me and was like, hey, I've been dating your boyfriend for 5.5 years. And I was like,
Oh, the
I was I
Instagram message.
I've been
Yeah.
with him on with for 5 years. And she was like, so
Uh,
when you were in Barcelona together, I knew you were there. I didn't know he had a girlfriend, and I didn't know that you were there, but I know every trip that you've ever
mm-hmm.
taken. She was going down the line, and I was like, whoa. And then I found
Mm-hmm.
out it all happened all at once. Like I had maybe 4 people in 1 month come to me telling me something crazy. That was like, oh,
Wow.
he's having sex with this person. Oh, and this person. Oh, and he's like a drug addict. And oh, this. And he's like all
Wow.
crazy stuff. And I'm like, I had no idea,
Yeah. He had like a quadruple life going.
crazy. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. I don't know how he kind of kept it from you for so long. And then thanks to Instagram.
The thing is, back in the day, I didn't talk to people about my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't And I wasn't, even though I was in a relationship with him for 5 years, I realized that I was not able to communicate or um, really be fully myself. I think in my relationship, I was, trying to be, I was like a different person back then. I would like be
Uh-huh.
cooking dinner, and I was cleaning and everything, like head to toe, hair, makeup, everything was not, I'm not that person anymore. But I
Mm-hmm.
was like trying to be some kind of housewife, and
Uh-huh.
not asking questions, not being, I don't, something was missing. Obviously he had a
Yeah.
different, he was all over the place and I had no idea. But then I realized that I need to start talking to people more about my personal life because we were
Yeah.
actually had a very sexless relationship. So
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Red flag here
there
where
was a lot of red flags.
something could be up here. Yeah.
So that happened. And as soon as that happened, because I had no sex for 5 years and
Mm-hmm.
like hardly, and it was someone that was always pushing me away if I tried to have sex with them. Or if I was trying to be intimate, I always felt rejected.
Huh.
So after that
This guy had
relationship,
a really weird strategy to get a girlfriend but never have sex with her so he can have other girlfriends. What kind
well,
of double life is this?
it's complicated because I think he was maybe bisexual and maybe more gay.
Mm.
And
Gotcha.
trying
Mm-hmm.
to, because the girl that reached out to me was like, well, it was not just us. It wasn't like a sexual. We had like, yeah, we had sex, but it wasn't like, it was more emotional. And I'm like, yeah, me too. We're not. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think
Okay. Yeah.
he liked the attention, and but there was a lot of men's. He worked in like the gay nightlife world.
Oh yeah, this guy was gay. He probably was.
So I don't.
Interesting.
I
Do
think
you
he just
think?
wouldn't talk about it. I think he wasn't
Yeah.
accepting of it. He was accepting of it for other people, and he was probably. And I've heard that he was like casting couch gay, like he would hook up with guys for. But
Mm-hmm.
I think he liked it more than he wanted to admit.
Yeah. Were you the girl like he would bring around to his family? Like, do you think he was
Yes.
putting on
Yes.
like the front of like I'm a straight man, here's my girlfriend?
Well, I met him and we were in a play together. And it was only 2 weeks that I had known him, and he already told me like, "You're my soulmate. I'm in love with you. Can you come home
Mm-hmm.
and meet my family?" And in my head, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like he is so sure about me. This is so crazy," because I was dating the older guy right before him.
Oh yeah,
And
the older guy. Yeah,
I
you do your
wasn't sure
research
about
for.
me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met this guy, he was like very good looking. I mean, I had never, to me, I wasn't even attracted to that type of look. But having this guy, like I was a band nerd in school. Like I was not
What'd
like
you play?
the flute.
Oh, the flute. Yeah, I was alto sax
Oh,
guy
cool.
myself. Oh yeah.
It's
So you're
supposed
a
to,
band nerd.
yes.
And you were liking this attention? Like it wasn't a red flag that he was like, "You're my soulmate. It's been 2 weeks," or it was working for you. You liked
It was
that,
working for me. I think he
really?
just told me everything that I wanted to hear
Yeah.
at that time. And especially at my age at that time, right, back in the day, you're young and you think you're old and you think like, I want to get
Mm-hmm.
married and I want to have kids. So in my head, I wanted to get married. Like I wanted, and for him to be so like in love with me, and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
it was like a fairy tale kind of thing for me. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so nice. And I remember him telling me he loved me, and I didn't feel the same, but I said it. And I was like, I love you too. But I think I fell in love with his family. His family was just
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
incredible.
see. Yeah, yeah. Now I can see the groundwork for it going 5 years.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I also realized when we were not having sex, in my head, I was like, I can live like that. It's okay. Like I didn't know better.
Really.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, you know what? He
Yeah.
would tell me all these excuses, and I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. Like we have a great relationship. He's such a great guy. Um, and then after I found out that he has this double life, and that's when I became a serial dater.
Mm-hmm. I see. What were like some of his excuses to not have the sex? I've never heard a dude have an
Steroids.
excuse.
He said he was on steroids because of his
Steroids.
back, and steroids because so he had low testosterone for steroids.
Mm-hmm.
And just but I should have known because even from day
Hmm.
one.
Yeah, that's a weird excuse. Yeah, I got too much testosterone, baby. I
Yeah,
don't. I
exactly,
can't.
right?
That's strange. Yeah,
No,
I'm
I
I'm
look
too
back,
much of a man.
but I mean that's the thing too, is when you're young and like you're probably the
Yeah,
most
you believe
attractive you've ever
anything.
been,
Yeah.
you're like thinking, I had this complex that I was like not attractive for so long because like he was literally just not interested.
I
And
see.
I
Yeah.
never told anyone. Like I just felt like, oh, it's just what it is. I guess it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't tell my
Yeah.
friends. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing to tell people that like you're not. But now that held back so much information for so long. After that experience, I said, you know what? I will never hold anything back anymore. I will
Yeah.
say what's happening. I will talk to my friends. I will talk to my family. I will be completely, and that's why I started doing stand up. And not
Mm-hmm.
specifically after him. I mean, I was doing stand up actually when we were dating for a little bit. Um, but it was because I was always too embarrassed about things, and now it's not. Now I find it empowering. I find it empowering to share these stories and talk about intimate things and be very open, because also I
Yeah.
realized it was hard for me to connect to people because I wouldn't tell you who I was. I was so like embarrassed or quiet in that
Mm-hmm.
way
I
that
see. Yeah.
so now I can like connect now with stand up, like connect with
Yeah.
my podcast. I connect more when I talk to my friends. I'm closer to my friends because I'm telling them my like my real life, my the real me, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. You feel more open to express yourself amongst friends. And now you see it in the sense like it's trying to, you're expressing yourself, or at least trying to better with like those strangers in the everyday
Yeah.
situations with the niceties. Yeah. That's it. Life is truly diabolical and unpleasant, isn't it? Because the only way we learn anything or grow from anything is from being severely scarred. It's really a rough go around. We're like, I
Yeah.
learned something. How'd you learn that? Oh, because because I had a horrible 4 years. We're like,
Exactly.
damn it.
I know.
It's the same thing when I meet someone and someone is married with kids and like, oh, how'd you guys meet? Oh, we met first year in college. What? And it worked out. I am insanely jealous of you two, and I am also disgusted by you two. How does it work out? I don't believe it. It's crazy when you hear a story like that.
But I have a theory about that because when I was dating like my ex, when in my mind, because I didn't have the experiences of actually dating people, I was like, oh, this works. I can do this.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then once you get out of that, like the next guy that I dated after him, I was like, oh my God, my ex was stupid. He like this guy is so smart. This person's funny. This person like they're more cultured. And I
Yeah.
think because I have dated so much that I've ruined it because
Oh.
I've
Yeah.
now
You feel nothing, Lorraine.
I know too much and I've experienced too much that
Yeah.
nothing will I don't know if I could ever be like you the less you know, the happier you are.
There's definitely something to that. Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah.
very happy. I'm very, very happy with that. I love my life. I love my cats. I love my
Hmm.
business. I love doing stand up. I love, I'm very happy. And I'm
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me or try to be like, no, try it. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. Like it's
Hmm.
not, I'm okay.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. If it wasn't for bad people or predators or crazy people, being naive would actually be kind of sweet. you know? Like I remember the first like ever like 20-minute conversation I could carry on with a girl. I was like, "Should I rent a hall? Is this going to be it?"
Yeah.
She didn't run away. So yeah, I think that sweetness of it, like you get hardened after a while. I guess that's life, but I mean, yeah, I wish we didn't have to all learn those lessons the way we do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually that's one thing that I'm interested in dating because I would like to see how I am when I'm like this new
That's
version,
interesting.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's interesting. That's a good point. Yeah, serial dater with Lorraine Lopez. Good
Yeah.
for you. Well, Lorraine, you've shared quite a bit.
I've shared too much as always. It's always, oh my gosh.
Well, I have a little game to play with you that I want to wrap up this interview on because I did a little research. The dating thing and the radio thing was the big tipping point for me. I was like, this seems like two things that are up Lorraine's alley. So I have a game that I call the Rotten Tomatoes head-to-head game, and I'm going to give you two movies, and you're going to try and guess which one has the higher Rotten Tomatoes score. And I'm going to read you the description. I'm going to see if you can guess the movie. So these are movies that involve radio and dating advice.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Let's try the first one here. I'm going to read you the description. You can yell it out when you know it. Radio Funny Man is sent to a war zone to bring a little comedy back into the lives of the soldiers. The host delights the GIs, but shocks his superior officers. Due to his irreverent take on war, his broadcasts face censorship, all while he pursues a relationship with a local girl who shows him the horrors of war.
Whoa.
Whoa, indeed. All right. Do you know this movie, Lorraine Lopez?
No, I do not.
Okay. I thought you might have gotten it with the last part. But the movie is from 1987, Good Morning Vietnam.
No, I've
Never seen it?
never heard of it, but it sounds
Never heard of it. Wow.
Great.
Robin Williams is a radio DJ in
What?
Vietnam, and he does radio shows for the soldiers. It was a simpler time back then, Lorraine.
I mean, is it? Is it?
Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe it's the same thing.
It's the
Robin
same
Williams.
thing.
Yeah. There would be
I
a good
love it.
there'd be a Good Morning Vietnam podcast if it was 2024.
Yes.
All right, well, here we go. Here's the movie it's going up against. All right, so here's the description. A host of a popular radio show about pets takes an on-air call, and the two surprisingly hit it off. The caller pushes for a date, but the host is shy and insecure, so she talks her ditzy neighbor into taking her place. The caller can't figure out why the date is so different in person, and now the radio host must find a way to confess her scheme.
Wow.
Wow, this one is very specific.
Very specific. I don't know it. I don't.
Don't know it. Okay.
Seems hard to fake a date that someone knows
Yeah.
your voice.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, radio. You send your ditzy friend like, go date this guy for me.
Huh, all right.
The movie is from 1996. The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Wow.
Did you ever see this movie?
No, I didn't. But you know what?
Hmm.
I don't think I watched a lot of TV, a lot of movies back then.
Oh
Like,
really? Yeah. Janine Garofalo is the radio host, and
oh,
she sends her ditzy friend roommate Uma Thurman, in her
oh,
place to date the
wow.
guy. Yeah, yeah. This was one of those movies like I saw on the shelves of Blockbuster for like years and years and years. And as a kid, I would look at it and be like, oh, that's for adults. Those are adult situations. They get
Did
into
you watch
dates.
it as an adult?
I've seen parts of it, but yeah, I should sit down and really watch it because I only saw it on like TNT as a kid in little
I mean, it
spurts.
sounds great. Sounds
Yeah, it sounds good, right?
Yes.
All right, well, here are your two movies, Lorraine. Good Morning Vietnam versus The Truth or Cats and Dogs. This is round one. Which one do you think has the higher Rotten Tomatoes score?
Oh, this is hard because I know what I would prefer, but I don't know. I know what the public might want.
Right, yeah, you got to think like a critic here.
Okay, I'm gonna say the Cats and Dogs has higher ratings.
Oh, okay. You're going Truth About Cats and Dogs. Good Morning Vietnam is 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Truth About Cats and Dogs is 85. Pretty close.
See,
Pretty
I would
close.
prefer to watch the Vietnam one.
You would prefer to watch that one?
Yeah, that
Interesting.
seems a little more interesting to me.
Interesting. Okay, here we go. Round two. A janitor with a mullet, acid wash jeans, and a dream searches for his parents who he lost at the Grand Canyon when he was 8. His journey takes him to Los Angeles, where a radio shock jock brings him in to insult him. But as the story unfolds, jeers turn into cheers, and an entire city is captivated.
Huh. Okay.
Come on, the wheels are turning, I think. I think this one you might know.
I don't know. I really don't.
Don't know. Janitor with a mullet. The movie is from 2001. Joe Dirt.
Okay. I don't think I
Didn't
watched.
see Joe Dirt?
No.
Hmm.
I'll tell you, there was a period in my life where I didn't watch any TV or movies.
Really?
Yeah.
You went from old-timey movies to just zero movies.
nothing to now I watch. I mean, I don't watch movies anymore, but I do watch a lot of reality TV now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't feel very confident for this next movie then. I'm going to read it to you anyway. Remember the theme. We got radio and dating. 3 aspiring rock musicians are determined to get their demo tape played on the air. Out of desperation, they break into a Los Angeles radio station where they resort to threatening the station with water pistols. Soon, the not-too-bright rockers get in over their heads.
I don't
No
know.
clue? All right, the movie is from 1994. Airheads. Did you ever see Airheads? Brendan
Oh,
Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler. They're like the dumb
wow.
rockers, and they break into a radio station to play their demo tape.
Okay. Sounds
All right,
great.
Joe Dirt versus Airheads.
I'm gonna
Quite the
say
turn from the last two.
Joe Dirt.
Gonna go Joe Dirt. All right, Joe Dirt is 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
9%?
Nine. Airheads is 29%.
Wow.
Oh, two
Okay, I know
movies that
which
didn't
one
do
to
that
go.
well with the critics.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so far you've got a big fat zero going here, Lorraine, but I have confidence for this last round.
Okay.
An introverted and insightful teenager finds an outlet for his viewpoints through a shortwave radio. Concealing his identity, he rails against injustices and hypocrisies taking place in the area. A determined student, however, discovers the truth, and the principal now seeks to shut down the show for good.
There's Bueller's Day Off.
No, but I appreciate the guess. 1990, Pump Up the Volume. You
Okay.
ever heard of this movie?
Oh.
Christian Slater has a shortwave radio, and he just essentially has a radio show at night, and locals listen to it, and they don't know who it is.
You liked it?
I think Christian Slater invented podcasting, now that I think about it.
How weird. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm still thinking, I think it's Frasier, the show. I feel like that was like kind of like a podcast.
Oh, yeah, Frasier. That was a good show. I would always watch that one. Last movie. All right, here we go. A widower moves to a new town, and his son calls into a talk radio program to find him a new wife. When the dad grudgingly gets on the line to discuss his feelings, a listener far away falls for him. Even though she is engaged, she writes him, asking to meet him at the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day.
You've Got Mail.
Now, come on, Lorraine. Come on. Get one more guess. One more guess. Come on. You're close. You're close.
Oh gosh.
What's the other one?
Mail. Right. Tom Hanks.
Okay, you know it. Come on. That's it.
No, I don't.
Don't know. Oh, you're so close with You Got Mail. Couple years earlier, 1993, Sleepless in Seattle.
Sleepless in Seattle. Damn.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan meet at the Empire State Building.
that one I know. I mean, that's the one I watched that one. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. That was definitely one like my mom was going to the movies to see, and like me and my brother just went with her. She's like, "Want to go to the movies?" Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're seeing this. We are. And so like we had to watch it. Yeah. Good movie.
It's good. Yeah. Classic.
Classic
Who's
movie.
the actress in that? The blonde one?
Meg Ryan.
Ryan.
Meg
Okay.
Ryan. That was some hot Meg Ryan times. Very
Meg
fluffy
Ryan.
yeah, very fluffy manageable hair. A lot of like smart skirts. Big Meg Ryan time.
Ryan. And Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks too. Yes, America's Dad. All right, your two movies, Lorraine. You got to get something right here.
Oh God.
Pump up the
I
volume.
told you I don't watch movies.
Yeah, that's true. You did say that. Pump up the volume, which you've never seen, and Sleepless in Seattle, which you thought was You Got Mail.
Sleepless in
All
Seattle.
right, come on, go with your gut. You're going Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes.
Pump Up the Volume is 79%. Sleepless in Seattle, 75%. What the hell, critics? Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Do
Unbelievable.
you usually go with the critics? Do you usually side with them, or do you like?
Like me personally, or for this game? Me personally, I'm probably 50-50. I think they get it right 50% of the time. Like there's some movie that I think is just dumb. And I'm like, oh, come on, critics. You're just liking this movie because this is a critics movie. Come on, I don't believe it. You know, so I'm a little mixed on it. You know, I never thought I was a movie buff because all the movies I liked were like dumb action mystery movies. So I thought I can't be into movies. I like The Fugitive. There's no
Yeah.
way I'm into movies, but I'm into like, you know, those types of movies. Like ask me what The English Patient is about, Lorraine. I have no idea. I'll never see it. I will never see that movie. But I will watch I will watch Con Air 13 times.
Good movie. Have you seen Untamed Heart?
No, I know that movie. Who's in that movie?
Christian Slater.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't he have like a terminal disease or something?
Yeah, he has a bamboo heart. A bamboo. What is it, like animal?
A baboon heart?
Bamboon heart. Yes, bamboon heart.
He does?
Yes.
I'm watching it right after this then. He has a baboon. Oh my God.
I know.
That's weird. Untamed heart. Wow, his heart truly was untamed.
Woo.
Wow. Well, Lorraine Lopez, her podcast is Lorraine Lopez Loves. She's at Lorraine Lopez Comedy on Instagram. She's probably going to be a show near you, and go listen to her podcast, everyone. Lorraine, that was a great talk. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Patrick. This is fun.
I'll see you next time.
Movies.
Go see these movies, Lorraine.
I am. I'm going to watch that.
You go see Airheads, and I'll watch Untamed Heart.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Patrick.
All right. That's it. That's the interview. That's Lorraine Lopez. Wow. Wow. All I can say is wow. Insightful. Deep. I'm glad she was on the show. We got to have her back. There was a lot going on there. And how about that Rotten Tomatoes game? Full effort. Not a lot of points, though. Hey, that's all right. That's why you play the game. Don't forget, please subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. Every subscriber counts. We're growing little by little. It's all because of you, the listener. All my stand-up comedy clips are up there. My Hooray for Hollywood movie series is up there, and it's got one more episode to go. Look for that. Give it a like. Give it a subscribe. I will appreciate it. Not to mention all my running back interviews. So, what have we learned today? Lorraine Lopez, serial dater. Patrick Ramirez, watched a lot of TV shows my mom would watch. That's what the interview is all about. So, I want to thank Lorraine Lopez. I want to thank you for listening. And I will see you soon.